All right, YouTube, welcome back to another G Auto Repair video. Today we're working on another AC system, this time on a 2012 Dodge Ram 2500, 5.7 liter. The complaint is obviously no AC. There is nothing in the system, and I know this because I depressed the little Schrader valve and nothing inside. So this video is, I'm gonna actually do it live, the steps that I do to check for leaks, find where the leak is coming from, and determine what I need to do to repair it. So I figured I'll bring you guys along just to see how that works. I've done several other videos. If you guys have seen the other video on the other 1500, that it turned out to be the evaporator, but I didn't really kind of go into a step-by-step process on how to find leaks. So this is what this video is about. So like I mentioned on my other videos, I use a combination of two methods mostly, which is the dye and a leak detector, the little sniffer. I always like to inject it with the dye, let it circulate, see if I can find the leak using the dye. If not, then I go ahead and use the sniffer. So that's where I'm gonna start at. I'm gonna start with introducing the dye to the system, and we do that using a tool like this. This is the Blue Point. It's kind of messy, it's already all over my hand. And we're gonna go on the low side of the system, and we're gonna inject the dye. Okay, quick little shot there, and that's all you need. Okay, a little goes a long way. Now I'm gonna charge the system because I want to get that dye circulating in the system so it can leak out wherever it's gotta leak. So I'm gonna do that. I really don't have to hook up the high side, but that's a habit. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Okay. So we're hooked up. Now I'm not gonna worry about vacuum or anything like that right now. I just want to get some refrigerant in the system to get the compressor to come on and circulate that dye around. It's gonna leak out anyways. This is like the second or third time that the customer adds refrigerant, so I know it's gonna leak out. I just want to get enough refrigerant in the system to get it to come on. So I'm not gonna get too fancy with vacuum or anything like that. There we go, the compressor just came on. It doesn't have to be a complete charge, it could be a partial charge. I just want the compressor to stay running. Get enough refrigerant in there to flow and carry out that dye throughout the system. Okay, so that should suffice right there. That should suffice, because either way it's gonna leak out, and I don't wanna. In this particular model, the compressor's down in there. I don't know if you guys can see it. The clutch has been activated. It is pumping. The compressor is working. Let me just put a little bit more just for it. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. Okay. We're gonna leave it there. It probably should be cooling a little bit. Yeah, very little. There you go. Okay. So now it takes time for this to circulate through the system. I'm gonna leave the vehicle on, circulating for anywhere to 15-30 minutes. Sometimes it even takes even more. It really depends on the size of the leak. The smaller the leak, the longer it takes for it to kind of work its way through, and also the position of the leak. If it's kind of hitting a little corner somewhere, it tends to take time for that dye to kind of leak out and whatnot. So that's why I use a combination of both methods. The point is to find the leak as quick as possible to save time and money. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause this video for now. I'm gonna let this circulate, move a couple things around, and then the next time I turn on the camera, I'll probably be in the shop area, and it's probably been running for quite a bit of time. So stay tuned, and I'll be back with you momentarily. Alrighty then, so we're back. The truck has been running for approximately 45 minutes or so. It should be well circulated in there. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our inspection of the AC system, and I'm gonna start using the goggles and blue light, or black light should I say. These little valves are always a good place to start. I like to kind of, as I loosen it, I like to listen to see if I hear a hiss. I did not, at least in this one. Same thing with this one, but obviously it was already disconnected. Sometimes if you put your finger, depending on how bad the leak is, if you put your finger on top of the valve here, you can feel the pressure pushing your finger off the opening. So we're gonna start off with I guess we can start trying to take a peek at the compressor, which is down there. So before we get there, let me just, and you may not be able to see what I'm doing because we got the grill and stuff in the way, so you may not be able to see what I'm doing. But basically what I'm doing is I'm looking for any possible leaks in the condenser. I have a very good view here of the condenser, and so far everything looks perfect here. I have a suspicion of where the leak is gonna be, but just for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna go ahead and go through the steps here. So far the condenser seems fine. Now for the compressor, we're gonna have to, I lost the camera there. Sorry about that. We're gonna have to, that looks very good. Again, you're not gonna be able to see it very well because I don't have the filter put on the camera. But when I do locate it, I will go ahead and put the glasses on the camera like I did last time, so you guys can see the spot of oil. Okay, so we're gonna look at the joints. We're gonna look at the joints. The O-rings sometimes tend to leak. These joints here where rubber meets the aluminum, they're good spots for it to leak. I'm normally not so worried about the actual line itself. They really don't, the only reason they will leak is if something damages, if they rub against the frame or something. It is possible, but not very frequently. See right here, I see dye, but that's when I injected it in there, so I'm not worried about that. The expansion block there, sometimes you get leaks. See, you guys can see that right there. Sometimes that gets leaked in the O-rings there. Okay, so far everything looks all right here. So far everything looks all right here. Nothing jumps out at me. Take another quick look at the condenser. Okay, so that only leaves us one other possible location, and that's the evaporator core, which is what I'm suspecting. If you guys remember, not too long ago I went ahead and did one of these jobs, and but I didn't go through the steps, so that's what this video is about. Now all makes and models are a little different. This will be on a case-by-case basis, but based on my experience, this is the road to El Dorado right here. That's gonna be the resistor block there. So I'm gonna remove that to gain access, because I have a pretty good view of the evaporator core from there. If you don't have a good access like that, then you're gonna have to come up with another way to try to get a sample from in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a Phillips screwdriver to take that out. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. I got my screwdriver here. Let me see if I can give you guys a better view here of what I'm doing. It's kind of difficult to get a camera in here. So basically I'm gonna remove this screw right here. If I can get the angle. Ooh. There we go. Okay, they're simple little screws, but okay, that one's coming out. Okay, that one's done. Oh boy, this gets frustrating sometimes. Simple little screw. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, so now I'm just gonna pull this down. Boom. Okay, I'm starting to see a lot of debris there. Okay. Debris. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in there with my with the black light and see. All right, so I'm gonna take a quick peek myself first, because it's hard for me to kind of put the camera in here and look at the same time because of the position. All right guys, so I'm back. I did check the evaporator core. I confirmed my suspicion, it is leaking. However, because of where the leak is in the evaporator, it's kind of very difficult to see. I had to use a mirror with a black light to try to see it, and even at that point it's kind of difficult because it's just a little pin that is showing up. I'm gonna try my best to show you guys, but I'm not gonna make any promises. Yeah, this is gonna be very difficult with the camera. That's gonna be very difficult indeed. Let me see if I can. Okay, there it is right there. Okay. There it is. Yeah, this is not gonna work, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna try. It's just where it's at. It's very difficult to see. However, However, I did bring my sniffer along just so you guys can see that this is the issue. It should pick it up relatively quickly. And then let's just let it warm up. Let's let it warm up. Okay, there's ready. We're gonna put this in the highest sensitivity, and we're gonna stick it in here. We're gonna kind of just, let's see, there it is right there. All I did was just stick it in there. Right? 100% without a doubt, this is an evaporator core leak. There it is right there. You just gotta get to the spot. You just gotta get to the spot. Just a little pin that's leaking. There it is. It's kind of hard to get to, especially if you're not looking. Right there. Right there. Yep, right there. I lost it again. There we go. So that right there confirms my suspicion. Leaky evaporator. Dash has to be moved. It's got to come out. It's the only way to change this. It's the only way to change it. That was a bump. So there you have it, guys. If you do not have an access like you have here to get into the evaporator core, you're gonna have to kind of come up with a different strategy. Common strategies include putting the AC in low setting and shoot it to the floor. Let the system rest for a little bit, let it accumulate the gas in there. Turn on the AC on very low setting and just kind of stick your probe at the floor vent, which is somewhere around here. I don't know where the heck it is, but it's somewhere over here. Just stick your probe in there. Sometimes it'll pick it up. Another trick is to use the evaporator drain tube. This unit is up there somewhere. It's probably more viewable from the top. Oh boy, I lost my Bluetooth. I see it dripping. It's gonna be underneath the computer there. You can do the same thing, just let the system rest for a little bit, let it accumulate, plug it up if you can with something, and then when you unplug it, stick your probe. Make sure that the water doesn't go into the probe, but just put your probe in there to where it starts taking samples, and sometimes that'll trigger it. Another trick could be putting a white piece of paper. I've never done this myself, but I've heard of it. Put a white piece of paper and let the paper drip. Let the water drip on top of the white paper, and if it mixes with the dye, the water will leave a yellow greenish stain on the paper. It's easier to see than on the shop floor. So there you have it, guys. That's how I came up with this conclusion. All leaks generally are the same. That's how you find them. You introduce the dye, you look for the dye leaking. If not, you use this system. Sometimes it takes a while for that dye to work in there. Could take, see, this has been running for 45 minutes or so. and it showed a little pin, a little tiny pin, maybe 2-3 millimeters. What I can see, it's not that big. Obviously it will get bigger as it stays leaking in there, but we just introduced it. If you leave it there a week or so, the stain will probably be bigger and it's easier to spot. So that's why sometimes these leaks do take time to find. We just so happen to find it relatively quick, and we were able to determine the source. But now we have to quote the job. Hopefully they'll go ahead and approve it and get this unit back up and running. I'll change the evaporator and I'll change the receiver dryer as common practice. I don't know how long this thing's been leaking, so want to make sure there's no moisture in the system. Well guys, thanks. Like and subscribe if you find it useful. Leave a comment if you have other methods of finding AC leaks. Please share for the whole community to benefit from everybody's knowledge, and catch you guys on the next video. Ciao.